Okay, right. Now, in question 3, they say that in the diagram below, circle P touches the x-axis and the y-axis. Circle P touches the circle Q at one point, which is basically that point there. And then they say that circle Q touches circle R at one point, which is that point over there. And then they say that PQ, no, and then they say that circle P has a radius of 5 units, right? So basically the radius, so we can see that that thing over there until that one, it's 5, right? And then they say that, or basically that to there, we can say it's 5, all right? Then they say that PQ is parallel to the x-axis and RQ is parallel to the y-axis. PR cuts the circles with centers P and R at A and B respectively. Now they say that the length of PQ, right? The length of PQ, so we are given that PQ equals to 9 units, right? Then they say that determine the equation of circle center Q. So we are basically dealing with that circle over there. Now in that circle, remember that the radius of the circle with center P, it's given as 5 units. Now if we wanted that length over there, which is basically going to be the radius of circle Q, basically what we can do, let's just call that point, let's just call this point over there here, right? That point there, let's just call it C, right? So we're gonna call that point between P and Q C, right? So basically CQ, right, is basically going to be PQ minus PC, right? And if we do that, it's basically going to be 9 minus 5, right? And if we do that, we're gonna get 4 units, right? And then remember that 4 units will be the radius, of circle Q. All right, so we now have the radius. So what we now looking for, we are looking for the for the coordinates of the center of circle Q. All right, now to find those coordinates, we're gonna basically do this. So what we can do, let's just extend line PQ until it can touch the y-axis. So we're gonna extend it again until it touches here. Let me just do it better. Alright, now if I extend that line PQ until it touches the y-axis, and then maybe I just call that point, let's just say we call that point S. Now if I call that point S, remember the coordinate of O will be 0, 0. Now the coordinate for S, basically this one will be 0, y, because it goes up until it touches the y-axis. So basically S will be the y-intercept for the circle P. Now if the coordinate for S is going to be 0, y, so now we are looking for the coordinates, or we're looking for the x coordinates, right, for the circle with center P. Now to find that coordinate, remember, can you see that we want the distance from S to P, right? Now to find the distance SP, or to find the length SP, we don't have to use a distance formula. So what we can say, so we can say that SP, right, is going to be equals to the coordinates of XP minus the coordinates of XS. All right. Now also remember that the distance from SP is going to be still 5 units, because remember radius is the same everywhere else. All right. And then so if we do that, so remember SP is 5 units, right? And then XP we don't know. Now remember the x coordinate for XS is given as 0. Now if you do that, therefore XP will basically be 5. All right. Now another thing, so if we now know the x coordinate for XP, now to find the x coordinate for the center or for the circle with center Q, we're gonna basically say that, so it means that if we see let me use a different color. Now remember, if I say PQ, right, PQ, if I wanted to calculate the length of PQ, I could have just easily said that PQ was going to be XQ minus XP. Right, now remember we are given that PQ is equals to let me use a different color, sorry. Now remember PQ, if we wanted to calculate PQ, we were going to say XQ minus XP, right? And remember we are given that PQ is 9 units. So and remember, and then XQ we just found it, XQ we don't know it. And we just calculated that XP is 5. Now to find the X coordinate for XQ, to find the X coordinates, or to find XQ, we're gonna just plus 5 on both sides, plus 5 on both sides, and then we're gonna actually have the X coordinate for Q to be 14. All right, now we're gonna look for the Y coordinates. Now what I also want you to understand, can you see that S, P, and Q and C are meant to say they all lie in the same line, which is actually SQ or PQ. So S, P, C, Q, they all lie in the same line. So all of them, they're gonna basically have the same Y coordinates. There isn't any of them that's gonna have a different Y coordinate. So P, SP, C, and Q, they're gonna all have the same Y coordinates. Now what I want you to get, if you were to draw a line from P going there, touching the x-axis, right, and then let's just call that point H, right? Now if you were to calculate if you were to mention the coordinates for that point H, it will basically be x H comma 0. All right, do you understand that? Now remember that length there, it's also going to be 5 because it's still radius. Remember, radius is the same everywhere else for the circle. Now to calculate HP, now remember we just found that HP is 5 units. Now to calculate the length of HP, we were not going to use a distance formula. We were going to say that HP, right, H, it was going to be YP minus YH. Now remember HP, we know that it's going to be 5. Then we're going to say equals to. Now remember YP, YP, we don't know it. Then, no, basically HP is going to, XH is going to be 5. I'm sorry about that. I didn't see. Because XH is on the same line as P. And remember the coordinate of P of xp, we just for the x coordinate of xp, we just found it to be 5. So that is going to be, let me just write out h in the most correct manner. So h will basically be 5 comma 0. Now right, to find hp, we're going to say that yp minus yh, and I remember the y coordinate of h is going to be 0. Now to find yp, it will basically be just 5. All right, so basically the coordinates of p, it will be 5 comma 5. But what we can now do, we can now say therefore q is going to be we just calculated xq, which was 14, so it's going to be 14 comma 5. Because remember, if the y coordinate of p is 5, then the y coordinates of s will be 5, of c will also be 5, and of q will also be 5. Now, according to a circle, we know that different color. We know that a circle, we're gonna say x minus a squared plus x minus b squared. Sorry, no. B squared is gonna be equals to r squared. Now remember, we found that a is going to be minus 14 squared plus x minus 5 squared. Now our r, we found it to be 4 squared units. So if we do that, it's basically going to be 4 squared. Sorry about that. That should be y minus b squared equals to r squared. Y minus 5 squared equals to 4 squared, and then y minus 5 squared, and that is all going to be equals to 16. All right, so basically in this question, this is the answer that we were looking for to find for the equation of circle center q. So the equation that you should find, it should be x minus 14 squared plus y minus 5 squared equals to 16. So this is the answer that we are looking for at the end for that question there. Hopefully that's understandable to you. All right.